Hey Sagittarius, how's it going? This is your reading for July of 2017. My name is Dre. If you want a reading, just email me. I already laid out the cards, so let's get started. We have the Queen of Swords, the Prince of Swords in reverse, the Four of Swords, the Hangman, the Wheel, Temperance in reverse, the Ace of Swords, the Emperor in reverse, excuse me, Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and the World. We also have Death in reverse as the outcome. And for an additional card, we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. I'm getting the sense that it's hard for you guys to feel like you have any real control. I'm getting the sense that your life, your situation right now is sort of, at least for the moment, you might feel like it's what's the word? Temperamental, where you feel like just things are sort of happening beyond your control. But I still see you guys as trying to do your best to work with the situation you have. But at the moment, currently, I feel like it's hard for you guys to really keep a tight lock, a tight grip over, I don't want to say your own destiny. I feel like you guys have a lot, like probably right now you're doing fine, like either at work or with your friends or with any sort of endeavor you're trying to pursue. But to get to that next level, I feel like for some of you it is more difficult than you've imagined. And I felt that for you guys doing your readings, where you're trying to constantly get to that next stage, get to that next point. And I felt this with Aquarius too. I always feel this with you too, with Aquarius and with Sagittarius, where you're trying to make that breakthrough. You're trying to just move beyond sort of the humdrum of your reality. But with you guys, I see with your reality, I'm getting the sense that nobody wants to cross you right now, or they would be wise not to. Because I feel like, aside from some casual pettiness on your part or on other people's parts, I feel like you have your immediate realm sort of locked down. You have that under control. But it could be taking a lot from you, or because you're not at that stage where you want to be, or you're not exactly things aren't moving as quickly as they should, or any sort of reward you get isn't as satisfactory as you would like. It's still a reward, but I feel like you're just like, well, I want more. Like, you probably got a raise, but you're like, oh, I deserve a bigger raise, something like that. But take that time to understand, because there's, the Four of Swords here in between Death in reverse and the Emperor in reverse. Now I feel like it's a good time, and I told this to another sign too. It had to have been a fire sign, maybe Leo, because that was the only other fire sign I've done so far, but I can't remember. But take this time to truly, really reflect, like come back to touch with the basics, come back in touch with where you really plan on going. That is, I feel like, you're ruled, we're all ruled by our ego desire, our urges to sort of live out our goals and our dreams in a way that we feel like we deserve, that we're owed. But I feel like in order for you to get to that next level, to get to that breaking point, there's going to be a need for you to really calm down. And I'm seeing it with the Seven of Wands in reverse. Not everything needs to be fought over. And the Seven of Wands is a very combative energy wherein you're holding your ground, you're standing your ground to sort of break through and push through. And again, it's not, I see you guys as having some sort of control over the situation now, and you want to fight going forward, fight harder, but that's probably not the best path to take. The best path to take is to understand your blind spots. Understand where have you been negligent to either get rid of habits, to get rid of people, get rid of extraneous activities that are more, that are draining your time instead of actually building you up to this place that you need to be. And with this Emperor here, maybe a lot of you, if it's not you, it's a male figure, there's a lot for you to learn in terms of how you wield your authority. Because like I said, people are in a position right now where they're not going to cross you, or they're not going to step up to you in any sort of way because, again, with the Seven of Wands in reverse, it's not good for you or them. Mainly for them, if they're coming to you. But it's also not good for you if you're trying to start something with somebody else either, because that's just another distraction. Understand what you actually do have control over, what you can control, what you can't, and how is that going to benefit you going forward. I feel like with this Emperor card especially, as well as with this Hangman, very long-term goals here, very long-term planning. And with this Four of Swords, allow yourself that time to reflect and refresh yourself and come back to a place where, because Sagittarius is a very analytical sign, the most analytical of the fire signs. So it's important for you to understand that what is ruling you, what's driving you. It's always important to know, to feel that, but to also understand at what cost am I putting out enough? Am I putting out enough energy? Am I putting out energy that's appropriate? Am I getting what I want in return? What am I wasting? How can I improve myself in this situation? Understanding that while you are good at what you're doing right now, and that people do respect you, there is still room for improvement, at least in terms of communication, how you communicate with people, how people communicate with you, what you will and what you will not tolerate. I feel like for some of you, there are people around you, or it could be you yourself, where you are, a little bit petty or just a little bit argumentative at times, just to assert your superiority a little bit more. Or you might feel like other people around you are doing that. And I'm seeing that there's like an off balance, there's tension there. But take this as a learning experience. Take this as an opportunity to be like, well, when I talk to people that way, it's really not, I'm not really getting anything out of it besides like, a little small victory, because I had a bad day. So I just want to feel good. So, I'll just do something that, I can just casually assert my authority. Or people might feel that way about you. And it might, in either way, I'm feeling like you feel like you might get satisfaction out of it, but you're not, because at the end of the day, you're still not satisfied. You're still not where you truly want to be. You're not truly where you desire to be in terms of completion. I said that really weird, but completion, like total fulfillment. And so the Hangman asks us to sacrifice. And with these two cards here, there's a commonality between the Four of Swords and the Hangman. With the Four of Swords, it's more internal, but with the Hangman, it's more external. Understanding what, and it comes before death. So it's like sort of surveying the landscape, understanding what in your life, what thing in your life have you allowed to exist for far too long, longer than it should have? Something that your ego will not let you let go of, something that you feel like is so a part of you that you can't be torn away from it. And so, with this outcome being death, obviously in reverse, that's really going to hammer harder to you. You're really going to feel that in a different way. And it will be crucial, and it will be necessary for you to actually take this time to understand, have you been misusing your power? Have people around you been doing so? What can you say? What can you do? How can you communicate to change any of this? Where have you been too lax in terms of actually sort of realizing materially with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and it's the only Pentacle here, where have you been lacking in a way that is going to bring you this ultimate fulfillment that you might feel like you have, or that you sort of have this idea that you'll just get, and you probably are putting steps in to attain this, but there's something bigger that hasn't been, that's been overlooked, that hasn't truly been addressed, that you will need to address, and that you will need to sort of see a different side of. You might see 15 sides of a situation, but there's that one side that is just like your blind spot. So find your blind spot. And so with these two cards here, beautiful, the Wheel and the World. These are like my favorite cards. And the fact that they are upright here at the end of the deck, like long-term future energy. It's just that keep your spirits high and keep your aim high. Always aim high. You never want to sink down to anybody's level. You never want to entertain somebody, a controlling, manipulative figure, pettiness around you, people that just really want to get under your skin, people that just really want to start arguments, like people that you've had old beef with, trying to come back and trying to like rehash the beef because you're doing well and they're not, so they're jealous. Stuff like that. You don't want to sink to anybody's level. The only level you want to sink to is this internal depth within you, to really come to terms with, your own inner struggle, your own sort of fight for inner peace, because things might be good on one end, but they could be so much better. And it's important to not sort of stay stuck in like this lower energy, but instead to ascend. And with this wheel here, there's completion. You have two tens. Even if one is reversed, it's still two tens. To where it's like, I understand what I want. I understand what I have to sacrifice. I understand what side of myself I haven't been looking at clearly. I understand where I've been wrong, where I've been too judgmental, where I've been too, it could be anything, any part of your personality that you feel like rubs people the wrong way or comes to conflict with other people constantly. That's sort of it's a reminder from the universe that, it's not just them, it's us too. A lesson I've had to learn. And we have the World here as well, which is like total completion, total acceptance of the fact that we're never going to be perfect, but we can at least try our best. We're never going to, the idea in our head may never actually come to fruition 100% of the time. But that in and of itself is part of the lesson, it's part of the journey. It's that, it's not to be thankful for what you get, but it's to know that if you work hard for something, and if you have your spirit in the right place, your heart in the right place, your mind frame, your mindset, your goals in the right place, whatever you attain is going to be worth it anyway, because, it's a part of you that you've actually materialized, that you've brought into the world just through your own, through your own willpower, through your own work, through your own determination and effort and passion. Or some of you just really want to travel. So you're just like, how can I save money to travel? When can I make this trip? You might think like, okay, there's a trip coming up forward, coming down the line, but I feel like there's like other things that are sort of distracting you. That's sort of getting you like right in the way of your vacation. Like you can't even really chill right now because everything just kind of got really hectic and you're just in dire need of a vacation. So it could mean that. But either way, understand that you aren't limited by you know, don't be, you aren't limited by what, and I feel like it's been a recurring thread for all of the readings I've done so far, because we are coming to eclipse season. You aren't limited by your reality. You know, our reality is only what we make of it. But there is a part of us uh, that we have been holding on to, that we have been dragging, that is this weight, this psychic existential weight or whatever that we've been carrying, the psychological weight that is sort of burdening us, convincing us that we aren't worth what we think we're worth, and that we have to fight harder and go harder and really achieve this material thing, when in essence, that's only one aspect of it. The deeper aspect of it is getting back in touch with our natural self, uh, our sort of our self that is more divorced from our ego, so that we can have clarity and thought going forward. So not everything is all about status, and not everything is all about one-upping people or being superior, but instead it's realizing that, you know, I really deserve this, and I want to make my situation better. And the only way I can make my situation better is if I make myself better on the inside. All right, so thank you, Sagittarius. It was a pleasure doing this, and I will see you guys later. Bye.